Part 19. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Ju. Chapter 181. Ma Hongying's eyes widened in shock at his words. Son, are you kidding me? Let me tell you, your father and I can't afford a delicate and frail little wife like Bai Xiaolian. Shen Tianrui said helplessly, Mom, aren't you urging me to find one every day? Then I will find one for you to see if it suits your eyes. If you don't like it, I will naturally not have contact with her again. You ought, just be at ease. Ma Hongying continued, I've always told you that I like girls who are generous and quick to do things. You can't go wrong if you look in this direction. Otherwise, you can look for them according to Xiaoxing's standards, ha ha ha. Shen Tianrui had a dark look on his face. Mom, if you go by Xiaoxing's standards, I don't think you want a daughter-in-law. There are a few girls as good as Xiaoxing in the world. Ma Hongying sighed softly, oh, you are right. There are not many girls as good as Xiaoxing. Okay, I won't ask you for anything. I won't ask what family background the other party wants. You just need to find one that we all like. Shen Tianrui looked helpless. Mom, since you are so anxious, why not go find Xiaoxing and figure out when I will be able to move Hongluangxing? Ma Hongying's eyes lit up and she clapped her hands. Yeah, why didn't I remember it? Okay, I'll ask Xiaoxing to tell your fortune later. She's a little fortune teller. What she said is absolutely correct. At least I know the result, and I have something to look forward to. Seeing his mother's enthusiasm for this, Shen Tianrui chose to retreat into the house in defeat. After closing the door and not hearing his mother's nagging, Shen Tianrui breathed a sigh of relief. He went into the bathroom and took a shower, then fell directly on the bed and fell into a deep sleep. Tomorrow is another busy day for him. The next day, Shen Tianxing slowly woke up on the big bed in the space. Before she even got up, she could already smell the strong aroma of food. Thinking that Dugu Zixi must be busy with her in the kitchen again, the corners of Shen Tianxing's lips curled up in a happy smile. After the two of them had breakfast together, Dugu Zixi, who had been with Shen Tianxing for several days, said to her gently, Xiaoxing, I have to go back to the military headquarters today to be busy. Are you okay by yourself? Shen Tianxing looked at him with a smile, of course it's okay. Just go and do your work if you have something to do. You don't have to stay with me every day. Dugu Zixi took her into his arms, kissed her pink cheek, and whispered, I really can't bear to leave you. Shen Tianxing understood his mood and comforted him, saying, you can enter the space at night. Why don't you just stay apart during the day? Dugu Zixi looked at her heartless smile and couldn't help but bite her lightly, you heartless little guy. Shen Tianxing shouted exaggeratedly, ouch, ouch, Sir Immortal Lord, please spare my life. Please let me go. Dugu Zixi had a helpless expression on her face, you girl. The two lingered in the space until 8 o'clock in the morning, then reluctantly separated. Dugu Zixi left the space and appeared directly in his room at Dugu's house. Shen Tianxing left his room. She is going to see Shenfang at Sicheng First People's Hospital today. I wonder if her mood has improved after this night. When Shen Tianxing went downstairs, the twin brothers had already gone to school. Shen Wenru and Li Xiaoxia were still sitting at the dining table, chatting and eating breakfast slowly. When they saw Shen Tianxing coming downstairs, they quickly called her over for breakfast. Shen Tianxing ate some breakfast with them, then called Yan Wenzhen and drove her to the Sioux City First People's Hospital in the Beijing-branded black car. When Shen Tianxing arrived at the hospital, it was already early 9 o'clock. Xiao Huan, deputy director of the emergency department, was already waiting for her arrival at the hospital early. As soon as he saw Shen Tianxing, Xiao Huan greeted him enthusiastically, little miracle doctor, you are here. Why don't you go to my office for a cup of tea first? Shen Tianxing shook his head. No, let's go directly to see Shen Fang. Is she awake now? Xiao Huan replied respectfully. She woke up around 6 o'clock in the morning. Her whole body was wilted and she had no energy, and then she fell asleep again. Shen Tianxing sighed, as long as she no longer wants to die. Xiao Huan nodded, sighed, and complained to Shen Tianxing about the difficulty of being doctors and nurses. That's right, little miracle doctor, you don't know how crazy Shen Fang was after being stimulated by her mother and father yesterday. She wanted to seek death again and scolded us for not saving her. Then I had no choice but to give her a sedative to calm her down. Alas, I really didn't know what to say to her. She felt really very pitiful. Shen Tianxing glanced at Xiao Huan with a smile and joked, I didn't expect Dr. Xiao to be quite caring. Xiao Huan said quickly, little miracle doctor, I'm not just pretending. I really feel that she is quite pitiful. Well, I still feel that I have some medical ethics. Shen Tianxing smiled and said no more. In fact, she could tell from his appearance that Xiao Huan was a good person. Otherwise, she would not have approached him to share Shen Fang's treatment with him. Arriving at the ward where Shen Fang was, Xiao Huan quickly stepped forward and opened the door to Shen Tianxing. Little miracle doctor, please. Thanks. Shen Tianxing and Xiao Huan walked into the ward one after another. Yan Wenzhen, who had been following Shen Tianxing, consciously guarded the door of the ward. When Shen Tianxing saw that Shen Fang was still sleeping, he opened his eyes and checked her body. Xiao Huan and the others have treated most of her injuries, but the comminuted fracture of the lumbar spine is difficult to treat. Xiao Huan also said softly to Shen Tianxing, little miracle doctor, we really have nothing to do about this lumbar problem, we can only look to you. Shen Tianxing nodded, okay, let me solve the lumbar problem. Shen Tianxing walked over again and said to Yan Wenzhen who was outside the door, Wenzhen, I want to treat Shen Fang. You guard the door and don't let anyone in. Yan Wenzhen immediately responded, yes. Shen Tianxing closed the door to the ward, and then looked at Xiao Huan, who looked excited, and somewhat expectant. I'm going to use Kung Fu to heal Shen Fang's injuries later. During this process, if you have any curious questions, please tell me first, hold it in, and you can ask me again after I finish treating her. Xiao Huan nodded fiercely and said with a flattering smile, I will. I won't speak and I will never disturb you. Little miracle doctor, you can pretend that I don't exist. When Shen Tianxing saw his dog-legged look, he couldn't help but chuckle, then I'll start. Yeah. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 182. Shen Tianxing first fed Shen Fang a healing pill, then locked his heavenly eye on Shen Fang's lumbar injury. Then he used his spiritual power, aimed at her waist injury, and directly used the rejuvenation technique to treat it. Xiao Huan, who had been standing nearby without uttering a word, had his eyes widened and he didn't even dare to blink, for fear that he would miss a key move of Shen Tianxing. Seeing traces of green light emerging from Shen Tianxing's hands, the green light turned into green stars and dots, and quickly poured into Shen Fang's waist. He was shocked again and his eyes were filled with wonder. The last time something happened to the Zhang family, he had seen Shen Tianxing perform this kind of treatment that was completely different from normal medical methods. But now, when he saw her performing this kind of fairy medical skills again, his heart was shocked again. I was once again shocked by her miraculous medical skills. His understanding of medical science was once again refreshed. He once again gained a deeper understanding of the mysteries of the medical world. When he saw Shen Tianxing using this treatment method for the first time, Xiao Huan felt that Shen Tianxing had opened a mysterious door to the pinnacle of the medical world for him. But this time, he was even more certain of his inner thoughts. He desperately longed to enter this gate. He was extremely eager to learn this kind of immortal medical skill to save people from Shen Tianxing, a mysterious and extraordinary little doctor. Yes. Xiao Huiyan has already determined that this is the medical skill of the immortal family. Her skill is definitely not a medical skill that belongs to the mortal world. If he could have such magical and extraordinary medical methods like Shen Tianxing, how many more seriously ill patients could he save in his life? If more Chinese people could learn Shen Tianxing's miraculous medical skills, how many seriously ill patients around the world would benefit? If such a day comes, then all the doctors in the Chinese medical field will be able to straighten their backs. If such a day comes, then doctors like them can loudly say to people all over the world, our country's miraculous medical skills are the best. When he thought of this possibility, Xiao Huiyan felt as if the blood all over his body was boiling and his eyes were wet. If Shen Tianxing wasn't still helping Shen Fang with her treatment, Xiao Huiyan might have knelt down right now, hugged her thighs and shouted "Master." After Shen Tianxing treated Shen Fang's lumbar injury, he turned around and saw Xiao Huiyan looking at her with burning eyes. His fiery and direct eyes made Shen Tianxing's scalp numb. She looked at him with feigned fear and asked, "Dr. Xiao, why are you looking at me like this? I will think you want to do something evil to me." Xiao Huiyan quickly waved his hand and said with a sly smile, "No, no, no, little miracle doctor, I look at you with admiration and reverence. You must not misunderstand me. Don't misunderstand me." Seeing Xiao Huiyan's funny look, Shen Tianxing couldn't help laughing again. "Okay, I have cured Shen Fang's waist injury, and I also helped her repair the miscarriage injury. Her body should it has recovered, but it is a psychological injury. It may take some time to heal. You can check her again and see if there are no problems, then she can be discharged." Xiao Huiyan thought of Shen Fang's parents and said to Shen Tianxing with some worry, "Little miracle doctor, this Shen Fang's parents are not good. They could have sold their daughters for gambling. After they learned that Shen Fang might when they were paralyzed, they scolded Shen Fang for not dying. In the end, it was us who drove them away. They left without even looking at Shen Fang. If such parents let Shen Fang go home from the hospital, wouldn't it be a shame? Let her fall into the tiger's mouth?" Shen Tianxing raised his eyes and looked at him, "Then what can you do?" Xiao Huiyan looked at her carefully and said, "I'm wondering, can we help her transfer to another school? Find a place to put her, so that she can stay away from those scumbag parents and start a new life again." Shen Tianxing thought for a while, and suddenly thought of the Jinbi County orphanage that Lu Yang was now responsible for. He just didn't know if Shen Fang would like to live there. As soon as Xiao Huiyan saw Shen Tianxing's expression, he knew she might have a solution. He tried to ask her again, "Little miracle doctor, do you have any good ideas that can help her?" Shen Tianxing nodded, "I have a good place here, but I don't know if Shen Fang is willing to go there. When she wakes up, I will ask her again. You can take her for a re-examination now." Xiao Huiyan said with a smile, "Little miracle doctor, I believe in your miraculous medical skills very much, so you don't need to re-examine me, right?" Shen Tianxing smiled and asked, "I'm afraid you won't believe her. Let's re-examine her. Everyone can rest assured. You will also have an inspection report to show to Shen Fang, right?" Xiao Huiyan quickly said, "I have great faith in the little miracle doctor, and I will never doubt your medical skills. If you say it's okay, then it's okay." Shen Tianxing suddenly waved his hand towards him, signaling him to stop talking. Then, Shen Tianxing said to Shen Fang, who was still lying on the hospital bed without opening her eyes, "Shen Fang, since you're awake, get up. Your body is fine. We can sit down and talk about you." After hearing Shen Tianxing's words, Shen Fang knew that she could no longer pretend to sleep, so she opened her eyes faintly. Shen Tianxing asked her again, "Did you hear what Dr. Xiao and I just said?" Shen Fang looked at Shen Tianxing. Before she could speak, tears were already flowing out. She calmed down for a while, then nodded to Shen Tianxing, choking and saying, "I heard you, thank you little miracle doctor, thank you Dr. Xiao." Shen Tianxing said to her with encouragement, "Then get up. Let's chat first, and then I will take you to a place where you can know how precious life is and how those people cherish their lives." The place. Shen Fang heard the meaning behind Shen Tianxing's words. She was probably implying that she didn't value her life, right? However, she, Shen Tianxing, is not her and has not experienced her suffering. How can she understand why she must seek death? Sometimes, life is really more difficult than death. Shen Tianxing's perception was so powerful, and the flash of disapproval in Shen Fang's eyes made her feel as if a basin of cold water had been poured over her head, and it instantly extinguished her eagerness to save people. She can save people, spend money, and help, without any complaints. But she definitely doesn't want the person she saves to be a white-eyed wolf. Let's take another look at this Shen Fang. If she was just distracted for a moment, there would be hope. If Shen Fang is really not worthy of her support, then this matter ends here. No matter what happens to her in the future, it has nothing to do with Shen Tianxing. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 183. Shen Tianxing's face darkened, and the aura on his body suddenly became cold. Not only Xiao Huiyan, who was standing next to her, felt it, but Shen Fang, who was still lying on the hospital bed, also noticed it. Xiao Huiyan felt a little confused and a little scared about Shen Tianxing's sudden change. He didn't know why Shen Tianxing became angry all of a sudden. Could it be that he said something wrong somewhere and offended this little miracle doctor? Xiao Huiyan felt uneasy when he thought of this possibility. As soon as Shen Fang saw Shen Tianxing's suddenly cold expression, and then met Shen Tianxing's cold eyes that seemed to see through everything, her heart trembled suddenly. Shen Fang actually knew very well that the only person who could save her now was Shen Tianxing. But she saw that Shen Tianxing was not only beautiful at such a young age, but also possessed of miraculous medical skills. Even young talents like Dr. Xiao were fawning over her like a pug. Thinking about her own experience, Shen Fang could not help but feel jealous of her. Although they are both surnamed Shen, why is she, Shen Tianxing, so lucky? Why is Shen Fang's fate so tragic? Shen Tianxing sensed the strong malice towards her emanating from Shen Fang, and instantly felt chilled and chilled. It seems like she really saved the wrong person this time. Shen Tianxing immediately retracted his plan to transfer her to Jinbi County and said to Xiao Huiyan, "Dr. Xiao, since Shen Fang is fine, I will go back first. As for what she will do next, whether you want to be discharged from the hospital or go home, it's up to you." After Shen Tianxing finished speaking, he turned around and left. Xiao Huiyan looked confused and couldn't understand why Shen Tianxing left suddenly. He hasn't even become a disciple yet. Xiao Huiyan quickly ran away and chased after him, little miraculous doctor, wait a minute, I have something else to ask you." Shen Tianxing, who had already walked outside the door, stopped, turned to look at Xiao Huiyan, and asked him calmly, "Do you have anything else?" When Xiao Huiyan saw that Shen Tianxing looked bad, he did not dare to joke anymore. Instead, he bowed deeply to her respectfully and begged sincerely, "Little miracle doctor, please accept me as your disciple." But Shen Tianxing shook his head simply, "I'm sorry. Dr. Xiao, I'm still young and have no plans to take on a disciple. I'm sorry." Xiao Huiyan had long expected that Shen Tianxing would say this, and he did not expect that as soon as he announced his apprenticeship, he would be recognized by Shen Tianxing and accepted by her. He had long been prepared to become a disciple of the little miracle doctor for a long time. As long as he is sincere enough, he believes that one day, he will definitely impress the little miracle doctor. Xiao Huiyan asked again, "Little miracle doctor, why were you angry just now? Don't you want to deal with Shenfang anymore? Did she do something to you?" Shen Tianxing sighed slightly, "She didn't do anything to me, but I suddenly felt that she and I are not the same person. I will help her pay for her medical expenses." Having said this, Shen Tianxing suddenly looked at Xiao Huiyan and asked him, "Dr. Xiao, when you help others, have you ever thought about what kind of reward you want to get in return?" Xiao Huiyan thought for a while and finally shook his head, "I haven't thought about it. I just want to have peace of mind and a clear conscience." Shen Tianxing smiled and said, "That's good. I'm just like you. I just want peace of mind and a clear conscience. Maybe that's all we can do. Goodbye, Dr. Xiao." Seeing that she had decided to go, Xiao Huiyan felt a little reluctant and asked her anxiously, "Little miracle doctor, if I have any medical questions, can I consult you?" Shen Tianxing smiled lightly and said, "If I'm free, you can come and find me. If it happens that I'm not available, then you can only say sorry." Xiao Huiyan said quickly, "I will definitely not disturb you until you are free." Shen Tianxing said cheerfully, "Okay, if you have any questions then, just call me and make an appointment then. I'm leaving. Goodbye." Xiao Huiyan also waved to her and said with regret, "Goodbye, little miracle doctor." Seeing Shen Tianxing and Yan Wenzhen slowly disappear, Xiao Huiyan turned back to the ward where Shenfang was. At this time, Shenfang had already sat up. When she saw Xiao Huiyan coming in, she immediately stood up and asked Xiao Huiyan nervously, "Dr. Xiao, has Miss Shen left? She really doesn't care about me anymore." Xiao Huiyan looked at the sweet-looking Shenfang. The expression on her face was not very good. She seemed to be blaming Shen Tianxing. She shouldn't just leave her alone. She, Shen Tianxing, should send Buddha to the west. Xiao Huiyan frowned slightly. He seemed to understand now why Shen Tianxing walked away just now. It turns out that the little miracle doctor's induction is so powerful. I'm afraid Shenfang's little thoughts have already fallen into the eyes of the little miracle doctor, right? To be honest, Xiao Huiyan also didn't understand Shenfang's thoughts. Since she used such a strong attitude to face being betrayed and raped by her parents, in their expectation, a girl with such a strong personality should be a person with clear grudges. Because of this, he and the little miracle doctor would do their best to save her. The little miracle doctor also restored her health. But why is she not only ungrateful, but also disrespectful to the little miraculous doctor? Why does she think that the little miraculous doctor's kindness to her is so deserved and natural? Xiao Huiyan's heart also turned cold at this moment. He looked at Shenfang quietly and asked in a deep voice, "Shenfang, what are you going to do now?" Shenfang's eyes flashed with resentment, and her originally sweet face was also stained with a sneer. "Dr. Xiao, I didn't want to live originally, but you know what I'm going to face, but you still want to kill me. I was rescued and I'm fine now. You saved me and didn't care about me. What else do you want me to do?" Xiao Huiyan felt a little headache when he saw her expression that she was relying on them. Judging from her aggressive attitude, her psychology may have been distorted by this incident, but he still tried to persuade Shenfang with a gentle attitude. "Shenfang, your health has been cured. Why don't you go back to school? You are now in your senior year of high school. After another half a year, you can pass the college entrance examination and find a way out, then you can spread your wings and fly high." Shenfang sneered lightly. Dr. Xiao said it really lightly. "If something like this happened, how do you want me to go back and face those teachers and classmates? Also, even if I get into college, what about my tuition fees? Who will pay for it? Come to pay my tuition." Seeing Shenfang like this, Xiao Huiyan started to feel a little irritable. He really wants to hit someone. What should he do? But he still suppressed his impatience and still gave her advice with the greatest patience. You can apply to the Xingzi Charitable Foundation for student aid. Based on your family conditions, the Xingzi Charitable Foundation will definitely approve it. Your application will help you get into college. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 184. Shenfang lowered his head and didn't speak for a long time. Seeing her like this, Xiao Huiyan also said to her, "I'll go back to the office first. You can think about it carefully and decide what to do, and then tell me." Shenfang only raised her head at this time and responded, "Okay." When Xiao Huiyan saw that she had responded, he went out with confidence and gave her time to think clearly. After about half an hour, Xiao Huiyan went back and asked Shenfang, "Shenfang, have you thought clearly? Are you going home? Or going back to school?" Shenfang looked at Xiao Huiyan pitifully and begged in a low voice, "Dr. Xiao, I don't want to go home or go back to school now. Can I follow you home first to avoid the limelight? Dr. Xiao, please." Although Xiao Huiyan has a good character, he is not a bad guy, but a smart and good guy. He thought of Shenfang's behavior before. Even Shen Tianxing was so angry with her. If he provoked her and really took her back to his home, if she also relied on him, he would really jump into the Yellow River. Can't even wash it off. This good man would not dare to do this. Xiao Huiyan thought for a while and said, "If you really don't want to go home, then let's do this. I'll pay for it and you can stay in a hotel for a few days first. Is that okay?" He regarded it as a way to eliminate wealth and ward off disaster. As soon as Shenfang heard Xiao Huiyan's rejection, she stood up suddenly in anger, glared at him and said, "It turns out that Dr. Xiao also looks down on me. You don't need to pretend to be kind. I'll leave right away. You don't need to be pitiful anymore," snored. Seeing Shenfang slamming the door out in such an angry manner, Xiao Huiyan felt helpless and melancholy, but he would never try to keep her again. Shenfang walked out angrily, still waiting for Xiao Huiyan to call her. As a result, Xiao Huiyan really ignored her, and she felt panicked again. Should she go back and beg him again? But when she thought of Xiao Huiyan's attitude, even if she begged him, he would probably only let him stay in a hotel and not let her enter his home. To be honest, when Shenfang said she wanted to go home with him just now, she really wanted to make up her mind and rely on Xiao Huiyan. After all, Xiao Huiyan is pretty good looking, mature, steady, personable, and a doctor. He is indeed a good husband candidate in the eyes of many women. It's a pity that the clever Xiao Huiyan didn't accept her move, leaving her to dream up thousands of tricks, but she had no chance to use them. What should she do now? What to do? Just when Shenfang looked confused, she suddenly saw the figure of a familiar, short, and fat man coming into her eyes. Her eyes widened instantly, with fear of this short and fat man in her eyes. This man is the Zhu Bei who slept with her. Shenfang instinctively wanted to turn around and run away. But Zhu Bei also saw her at this time, and immediately waved to the two men who were following him, and his two men immediately chased after her. Soon, they caught Shenfang and escorted her back to Master Zhu Bei. Zhu Bei didn't say anything. He glanced coldly at the people around him who were peeking at them, and waved his hand, "Let's go." Shenfang turned out to be very obedient. She didn't scream or cry. She just followed Zhu Bei obediently, got into his car, and followed him back to the villa where he used the golden house to hide his beauty. Shenfang looked at this splendidly decorated villa, full of rich and wealthy atmosphere. She thought it was vulgar and ugly before, but now when she looked at it, she found that she no longer felt this way. Having died once, she had completely thought about it. In this world, if you are so rich, you will be the boss. Looking at this pig-headed Zhu Bei, because he is rich and powerful, he can drink fine wine, play with beautiful women, and do whatever he wants. But what about her? She has no money, so she can only be bullied and looked down upon by others. What's the use of being noble? Can the high-minded be used as food? She really doesn't want to be so poor anymore. She wants to be a master. As long as she can become a master, she is willing to pay some price. At this time, Shen Fang, who had finally saved her life, had completely abandoned her dignity and integrity and became a slave to Zhu Bei and money. Good and evil are just a matter of thought. It is not easy to stick to your principles and bottom line. But it only takes a moment to sink into darkness. Zhu Bei was very satisfied with Shen Fang's change. Originally, he wanted to torture Shen Fang because of Shen Fang's suicide, but he also stopped under Shen Fang's deliberate efforts to please her. He originally liked Shen Fang, so he tried every means to get her. She was always reluctant before, which made him very unhappy every time. But now, she jumped off a building and actually got better from jumping, which made Mr. Zhu Bei feel that she was really good at jumping off the building. At midnight, Shen Tianxing and Du Guozixi appeared above Zhu Bei's villa. When she saw Shen Fang sleeping with Zhu Bei, she couldn't help but sigh. If a person wants to commit suicide, no one can stop him. Since she has chosen this path, she has to bear the consequences no matter what. Shen Tianxing and Du Guozixi used the invisibility technique to search all Zhu Bei's dens. Shen Tianxing found a large amount of money and gold and silver jewelry in his nightclub and entertainment company's 2 dens. The most important thing is the roster of Zhu Bei's men, the ledgers of various transactions, and the various videotapes used to threaten and control those women. The things they found were enough to kill Master Zhu Bei tens of millions of times. The next day, Shen Tianxing handed over all the criminal evidence of Zhu Bei to the hands of her second uncle Shen Wenzheng without hesitation. After receiving the information submitted by Shen Tianxing, Shen Wenzheng organized manpower that day and raided Zhu Bei's various dens overnight, arresting all Zhu Bei and his men. This great scourge in Su City was finally over. Shen Fang never expected that she had just changed her mind and wanted to rely on Zhu Bei to rise, but Zhu Bei fell in the blink of an eye. She had no face to stay in Su City, and she didn't want to be sucked by those scumbag parents again, so she packed her bags and took the train directly to the south, where she became a prostitute from then on. 2 years later, Shen's father and Shen's mother were hacked to death because they failed to repay their high gambling debts. 3 years later, Shen Fang died of a heart disease, and there was no one to collect the body. In the end, the D City Public Security Bureau came forward to help her cremate her body, and her ashes were stored in the no man's land of the D City Cemetery. When Shen Tianxing thought about Shen Fang's fate, he felt a little sad. People with evil intentions will never end well. Even if they get a chance to change, they will not cherish it. In the end, they will be defeated by their own bad intentions and will never have a chance to climb out of the abyss. As a human being, it is better to be kind. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 185. Let's talk about Shen Tianrui. After attending Shen Tianxing's birthday dinner that day, when he sent Bai Xiaolian back, he didn't know which colleague saw it. The next day, rumors spread throughout the police station where he worked, saying that he and Bai Xiaolian were in love. His good partner Li Dachong also teased him to his face and said, "Oh, my Captain Shen, I heard that you picked that little white lotus. I really admire you. Why didn't I receive any news? You are such a good buddy. Too unloyal." Shen Tianrui gave him a cold glance. "Who did you hear that Bai Xiaolian and I were in love?" Li Dachong was stunned for a moment, then asked, "Isn't it?" Shen Tianrui's face darkened. "Of course not. Yesterday was my sister's birthday, and my mother was forcing me to get married all day long. Bai Xiaolian suddenly came over and pestered me yesterday, saying that she was going to attend my sister's birthday dinner, so I thought about taking her with me. It's okay to go back and deal with my mother. If she sees a girl she doesn't like, She won't press me to get married. If I had known that there would be such rumors, I wouldn't have taken her back. At this time, Shen Tianrui really felt like he shot himself in the foot. Li Dachong also stopped laughing and said to him seriously, I heard that someone saw you sending Bai Xiaolian back very late last night, so they made a guess. Some people even went to Bai Xiaolian to confirm it, but Bai Xiaolian also she didn't deny her relationship with you, but she said with a blushing face that she really likes you and wants to be with you. If you mess up about this, you might really get entangled with her. Shen Tianrui cursed secretly in his heart. No wonder Xiao Xing reminded him that he was destined to have a bad luck, and now there was a bad sign. Shen Tianrui snorted coldly and said, who can force me to do something I don't want to do? Just want to plot against me with such a small trick? No way. Li Dachong patted his shoulder gently with comfort, women are the most troublesome. Just be aware of it. Shen Tianrui nodded to him, thank you. Li Dachong waved his hand, we are all brothers, so why are you so polite? I have something else to do, so I'll go and get busy. If you need my help, if you need anything, just speak up. Okay. Shen Tianrui narrowed his eyes slightly as he watched Li Dachong walk away. What kind of bastard spread such rumors? At this time, Shen Tianrui never imagined that this rumor was spread by Bai Xiaolian herself. As long as she can hook up with a good man like Shen Tianrui, she doesn't mind ruining her reputation. And this rumor was also known by the bald young man who had been staring at Shen Tianrui and Bai Xiaolian in the dark. This bald young man's name is Doqing. Doqing and Bai Xiaolian were childhood sweethearts who grew up together. Once, 18-year-old Doqing saw a gangster teasing Bai Xiaolian. Doqing was so angry that he immediately picked up a brick and beat the gangster into a vegetative state. The gangster's family directly called the police and refused to accept the mediation from Doqing's family. They wanted Doqing to go to jail. In the end, Doqing was sentenced to 10 years in prison for intentional injury, serious injury, and was required to pay the other party's medical expenses. In prison, Doqing was given 2 opportunities to commute his sentence because of his good behavior. He was released after 8 years in prison. By the time he came out, things had already changed. During these 8 years, his parents were exhausted from helping him pay the medical bills of that little gangster. Bai Xiaolian, who he fought for, had visited him at first, but by the 2nd year, she had never been seen again. The letters Doqing wrote to Bai Xiaolian in prison were all returned with the message no such person found. Doqing has been holding back a fire in his heart, feeling that his pure love has been entrusted to the wrong person. He paid the price of his life for Bai Xiaolian. And what about her? Turn around and leave him. How could Doqing be willing to do so? After he was released from prison, Doqing was even more shocked when he learned of the death of his parents. He vowed to find this woman Bai Xiaolian and let her repay the love she owed him. But when he went through all kinds of hardships to find Bai Xiaolian, he saw the scene where she and Shen Tianrui were talking, laughing, and flirting. Doqing immediately hated both Shen Tianrui and Bai Xiaolian. He secretly swore in his heart that even if he risked his life, he would make this adulterous couple pay a heavy price, and let them know that he, Doqing, is not someone to be trifled with. This time, Shen Tianrui's misfortune really fell from the sky. However, he couldn't complain about this. If he had not been in contact with Bai Xiaolian from the beginning, he would not have been taken advantage of by Bai Xiaolian, and he would not have let Bai Xiaolian have the delusion that she could be with him by using rumors to force him to do so. If he didn't come into contact with Bai Xiaolian, Doqing would not see him sending Bai Xiaolian back, and because of this, Doqing would misunderstand his relationship with Bai Xiaolian. Things happen for a reason, and they naturally have consequences. Doqing also began to implement his revenge plan. He stopped Bai Xiaolian when she was getting off work, looked at Bai Xiaolian with a smile and asked, "Sister Xiaolian, Do you still know your brother Cheng? When Bai Xiaolian saw Do Ching, she was so frightened that she turned around and ran away. However, Do Ching, who had been prepared for her escape, grabbed her arm, pulled her back hard, and hugged her. Do Ching, what are you going to do? Let me go. Let me go quickly. Bai Xiaolian struggled desperately and looked around in fear, fearing that someone would see the scene. By then, she and Shen Tianrui might no longer be able to do it. Do Ching would not let go no matter how she shouted. Not only did he not let go of her, but he kissed her again and again on her face and lips. He also said to her with a ferocious smile, "Sister Xiaolian, the friendship we have had for so many years since we were young has finally come to an end." When Bai Xiaolian heard what he said, she was immediately horrified. "What do you want to do? Do Ching, don't mess around. I tell you, my boyfriend is the police. If you dare to do anything to me, he will definitely not let you go." Ha 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 ha. Do Ching suddenly looked up to the sky and laughed wildly, then his face sank, and he reached out and patted her face gently. "Your boyfriend is a police officer? You think I'm afraid of him? He won't spare me? I won't spare him yet." When Bai Xiaolian saw the angry and fierce look on his face, she was so frightened that she trembled all over and burst into tears. Do Ching's eyes were sarcastic and he laughed softly. "Bai Xiaolian, you bitch, do you think I will pity you if you cry now? Damn. I spent 8 years in prison for you. It's a good thing that you turned around and abandoned me. Do you know how I lived in prison these years?" Apart from crying, Bai Xiaolian didn't know what to do now. She had a very ominous premonition. Today she fell into Do Ching's hands, and I'm afraid she won't end well. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 186. Do Ching spoke to Bai Xiaolian's ear and said to her word by word, "My life in prison is worse than death. Bai Xiaolian, you owe me a debt of love, and I want you to pay with your life." When Bai Xiaolian heard what he said, she was so frightened that her legs weakened and she collapsed in his arms. Do Ching forcibly took Bai Xiaolian back to the small hotel he rented, raped her directly, and tortured her to death over and over again, until she fainted, and then he gave up with a sneer. He lit a cigarette, leaned against the head of the bed, and puffed slowly. After the crazy venting, the resentment and hatred he had held in for so many years seemed to dissipate. Do Ching turned to look at the sleeping Bai Xiaolian. Looking at her beautiful face, the things that happened when the two were young came to mind. At that time, they were young and childhood sweethearts and had a good relationship. No matter where they went, they would be together, and they would share any delicious food or fun things together. At that time, he really liked her very much and could really give his life to her. He fought for her, went to jail for her, and he never regretted it. Even if time could go over again, he would still do this based on the deep affection he had for her at that time. It's a pity that the relationship he always thought would never leave him turned out to be so vulnerable. What he hated most was this woman's ruthlessness. Even if she wants to break up with him and doesn't want to be with him anymore, if she tells him directly, he can understand or just give up. He wouldn't have to suffer so much from looking forward to it from morning to night, going from hope to disappointment and then to despair again and again. But she didn't say anything and just left quietly. At first, he was worried about her. Did something happen again? He is still worried that he is not by her side. If something happens to her, who else can help her? Unexpectedly, after leaving him, life became more comfortable and he even found another man. Only he was still suffering there, looking forward to seeing her again. Since he was living in such pain, what reason did she have to stay out of it? If he wanted to feel pain, he would pull her to feel pain with him. Just like when they were children, two people are happy together, sad together, and sad together. In this way, he would live up to his deep friendship with her for so many years. After Do Ching took a nap, he fed Bai Xiaolian some ruined gin powder from his brother's house on the black market, tied her hands and feet, and locked her in the house. He himself went out to find Shen Tianrui, preparing to kill him directly. In Do Ching's view, only when Shen Tianrui dies and cuts off her hope can Bai Xiaolian go home with him and have a baby, follow him wholeheartedly, and raise their baby with him. Of course, this is just Do Ching's own dream. Do Ching met a gang leader named Lao He in prison. The two had a good rapport and eventually became close friends. Do Ching did help this old black man a lot inside. Lao He was released from prison 2 years before Do Ching. When he was released from prison, he said to Do Ching sincerely, "Brother, after you get out, if you have no place to go, come to me and hang out with me. I can guarantee that as long as I have a bite to eat, you, brother Do Ching, will have a bite to eat and I will never break my promise." "Thank you, brother He. If I have no place to go, I will definitely go to brother He first." After Do Ching came out, he went back home first. After learning that his parents had died of illness one after another, he was so stimulated that he immediately went to find this old black man. The reason why he went to Lao He was not that he wanted to take refuge with Lao He, but that he wanted to find something that could be used to deal with people, such as the ruined gin powder he gave Bai Xiaolian and the pistol in his hand. Lao He got it for him. Lao He also gave him a bank card and said there was 100,000 yuan in it, and asked him to spend it before looking for him again. Do Ching was naturally very grateful to Lao He for helping him in times of need. Do Ching also promised Lao He that when he finds Bai Xiaolian, he will bring her back and hang out with him. What Lao He wants is Do Ching's words. It's a pity that Lao He lost the bet this time. He thought that if he treated Do Ching well, he could get Do Ching to work for him. Little did he know that Do Ching had kicked a super hard iron plate again this time, and he was destined to be unable to follow him for the rest of his life. Do Ching left the inn and lurked on Shen Tianrui's way home, waiting for Shen Tianrui to get off work before ambushing him directly. Shen Tianrui has been very vigilant ever since Shen Tianxing reminded him that there would be a peach blossom disaster in the next 3 days. The past 2 days had passed in the midst of rumors and busy work, but he had been fine. But Shen Tianrui is well aware of Shen Tianxing's outspoken fortune-telling skills. The closer to the 3-day deadline mentioned by Shen Tianxing, the more nervous his spirit becomes, like a tightened string. He doesn't know when he will something happened. This is the night of the 3rd day, and it is also the last few hours of the 3-day period mentioned by Shen Tianxing. Shen Tianrui was busy until 6 o'clock in the evening, then drove his jeep to his home. Just as Shen Tianrui's car drove onto a remote country road, the tire suddenly exploded with a boom. Feeling the jeep's body tilt, Shen Tianrui secretly screamed no in his heart, and quickly stepped on the jeep's brakes, causing a sharp stop. Zhizzy. The jeep rushed forward for a distance and stopped only a foot away from the ditch. Shen Tianrui was not in a hurry to get out of the car. When the tire was suddenly punctured, he knew that his luck had come true. He eased his nervousness, and then checked the protective jade plagues and safety charms on his body. After confirming that they could keep him safe, Shen Tianrui slowly opened the car door and slowly stepped out of the car. Sure enough, as he expected, when he got out of the car, a bullet whizzed straight towards him. When the bullet hit his chest, the protective jade metal instantly emitted a ray of light and bounced the bullet away. And Shen Tianrui's figure also jumped up at this moment, flying towards the direction of the bullet as fast as lightning. Although Shen Tianrui has no spiritual roots, his martial arts talent is also very good, and his cultivation is about to break through the innate realm. As soon as he breaks through the innate realm, it is equivalent to entering a different world. Like the monks in the early stage of the foundation building realm of immortal cultivation, the sensitivity of the five senses will greatly increase, his lifespan will also be extended, and his cultivation level will also greatly increase. In today's Dharma-ending age, when there are very few monks, warriors in the innate realm are already enough to surpass most warriors. When Doqing saw that he had missed a single hit, and then saw that Shen Tianrui was flying towards him like a martial arts master, he was frightened to death. Just when he wanted to stand up and run away, Shen Tianrui flew up in the air and kicked him to the ground. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 187. Shen Tianrui would not be polite to people who wanted to kill him. With this kick, Doqing was kicked so hard that his blood surged, a fishy sweetness surged up in his throat, and he opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. Shen Tianrui didn't give him any chance to fight back. He took out the handcuffs and cuffed his hands behind his back. After finishing dealing with Doqing, Shen Tianrui called Li Dachong to inform Li Dachong that they would come immediately to collect evidence of Doqing's crime. He is the party involved, and it is better for Li Dachong and others to collect evidence. When he got off work, he greeted Li Dachong and asked him and his two brothers to wait for his call. There might be a task assigned to them by then. Li Dachong, who had been prepared for a long time, rushed over to the three of them in his car as soon as he received Shen Tianrui's call. 15 minutes later, they arrived at the scene of Shen Tianrui's accident and quickly collected evidence. After collecting the evidence at the scene, Shen Tianrui and Li Dachong took Doqing back to the Public Security Bureau and immediately interrogated Doqing. Doqing was kicked out of half of his life by Shen Tianrui's kick. He was wilting all the way and no longer looked as sinister as before. When Li Dachong interrogated him, Doqing quickly confessed his crime. He knew very well that he wanted to kill Shen Tianrui, but he was caught in the act. No matter how he evaded, he could not wash away the crime of attempted murder. When Li Dachong and Shen Tianrui heard about Doqing's motive for killing and the grudges between him and Bai Xiaolian, Li Dachong couldn't help but feel wronged for Shen Tianrui. He said to Doqing, "Doqing, do you know that Shen Tianrui's Shen family is now the richest man in Su City, and he is not an ordinary person? It is impossible for him to fall in love with Bai Xiaolian. It is Bai Xiaolian's wishful thinking towards Shen Tianrui. And the scene you saw that day, when Bai Xiaolian pestered Shen Tianrui to attend Shen Tianrui's sister's birthday, Shen Tianrui took her there and then sent her back. The two of them didn't even hold hands, okay? Since you love Bai Xiaolian so much, why didn't you just take her away? Why did you still hurt innocent people? It's better now. You just came out and you got yourself involved again. Don't you regret it?" Doqing smiled coldly, "Now that the matter is over, what's the use of talking about it?" Li Dachong sneered lightly, "It's really useless. I'm just not worth it for you. I ruined my life for such an unworthy woman." Doqing closed his eyes in pain. Bai Xiaolian, who was imprisoned in a small hotel by Doqing, was later rescued by Li Dachong and others. When they saw the obvious bruises on Bai Xiaolian's body, they knew that Bai Xiaolian had been tortured by Doqing. But they really couldn't sympathize with women like Bai Xiaolian. Doqing ruined his life because he loved the wrong person and did the wrong thing. As for a woman like Bai Xiaolian, even without Doqing or Shen Tianrui, she would still quickly find a new home to take her. The Public Security Bureau also dismissed Bai Xiaolian as a temporary worker because of the negative impact. She left, and no one knew her whereabouts. No one cares about what her future will be like. In the end, Doqing was sentenced to another 10 years in prison. However, this time, he had no chance to come out. 5 years later, he died in prison. This is a later story. The day after Doqing sniped Shen Tianrui went to see Shen Tianxing for a fortune teller. Shen Tianxing smiled and said to him, "Brother, congratulations. Your peach blossom disaster has been resolved." "Oh, it won't be long before the peach blossom that brother was destined for will really come. Congratulations. Shen Tianrui raised his eyebrows and looked at her. Are you serious? Shen Tianxing smiled and nodded. Of course it's true. Do I dare to fool you about this important matter of marriage? Shen Tianrui clapped his hands and said, that's great. My mother also said she would come and ask you when I will see the red Luan star move. It's all right now. Xiao Xing, please call me quickly and tell me about this, Mom. Let them have fun and stop trying to force me to marry them. Seeing Shen Tianrui's helpless look, Shen Tianxing couldn't help but laugh out loud. Ha ha ha, brother, why don't you just marry your sister-in-law back home as soon as possible, so that your aunt won't rush you anymore? Get married. Shen Tianrui rolled his eyes at her. Do you think that when I get married, she will start giving birth again? She will definitely whisper in my ear again, that so-and-so is the same age as me. Son, how old are you all? Shen Tianxing patted his arm comfortingly. Brother, don't worry. You should meet your true love next month, and within a year, you should be able to be a father. Come on. I'm optimistic about you. Yo. Shen Tianrui's eyes widened in surprise. Is it really that good? Shen Tianxing nodded vigorously. Really, really. Moreover, you and your wife will be very loving. You two are destined to have a good marriage. Shen Tianrui looked at Shen Tianxing, took out his wallet from his pocket, took out a bank card, stuffed it into Shen Tianxing's hand, and said seriously, Xiao Xing, this is for you. After everything is done, I'll give you another big red envelope. Shen Tianxing pushed his bank card back to him, grabbed his wallet, took out 100 yuan from it, raised it to him, and said with a smile, this is enough. She knew that Shen Tianrui was following the inheritance rules of the occult world of the hexagrams must not fail to give her fortune-telling money. According to the rules of the occult world, a occultist's fortune-telling, feng shui reading, etc. are all things that reveal the secrets of heaven and violate the laws of nature, and will be punished by heaven. Mysticism master is a general term for Suanman, which is further subdivided into, fortune teller, feng shui master, talisman master, ghost hunter, talisman doctor, etc. Generally speaking, when a host hires someone to do something, the more money they invest, the better the results will be. The occultist must also adhere to the principle of accepting people's money and blessing others and perform relevant rituals for the master's family. At the same time, the occultist must also bear the corresponding consequences for the master's family. For example, if Shen Tianxing saves an evil person, and the evil person kills someone in the future, she will have to bear the corresponding consequences, and her merits will also be reduced by heaven. Another example, she saves a good person, and the good person saves another person, and she can also receive some merit from the other person. If you ask a fortune teller to tell your fortune, or ask a feng shui master to read your feng shui, and in the end you refuse to pay, or you haggle for less money, in the end, you will end up in another more miserable way. Pay the price. Therefore, there is a saying in the world that it is okay to offend anyone, but never offend those capable strangers. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 188. When Shen Tianrui saw that Shen Tianxing refused to accept his money, he only accepted 100 yuan as a token fee. He also knew that this good sister was feeling sorry for him and helping him save money. As before, he rubbed her head affectionately and said gratefully, Xiao Xing, thank you for saving my brother's life again. Shen Tianxing glared at him sweetly and said with a smile, brother, what you said is wrong. We are a real family. Do you stand by and watch when something happens to me? Shen Tianrui said quickly, that's definitely not the case. But I still have to thank you. This is a life-saving grace, not an ordinary thing. Shen Tianxing had a helpless expression on his face. Okay, I will accept your gratitude. Brother, I will call my aunt now and tell her that you will have good news about the movement of the red Lewin star next month. Shen Tianrui smiled slightly. Okay, you go ahead and fight. Shen Tianxing immediately took out his mobile phone and called his aunt Ma Hongying. When Ma Hongying saw that the call was from Shen Tianxing, she quickly picked it up. Oh, little Xing, why did you remember to call your aunt today? Shen Tianxing knew that Ma Hongying was impatient, so he deliberately teased her with a playful smile. Auntie, I have good news here, do you want to hear it? Sure enough, Ma Hongying asked eagerly as soon as she heard it. What's the good news? Come on, tell me. Is it something good related to your elder brother? Shen Tianxing chuckled. Auntie, you are so smart. Let me tell you, I just helped my eldest brother read his fortune. Next month, he will have signs of the red star moving. You will be able to have a big fat grandson next year. La. Oh mom, is it true? Hearing Ma Hongying's excited roar on the other end of the phone, Shen Tianxing had to put the phone away. Even Shen Tianrui next to him heard what his mother said and shook his head at Shen Tianxing with a helpless smile. At this time, Ma Hongying shouted loudly on the other end of the phone again, Xiao Xing, wait for us. Your uncle and I will go to your house now. We'll talk about it when we meet. We'll talk about it when we meet. After Ma Hongying finished speaking, regardless of Shen Tianxing's reaction, she hung up the phone directly, picked up Shen Wenjun who was drinking tea, and rushed towards Shen Tianxing's house. The two families were very close to each other, and they arrived at Shen Tianxing's house in the blink of an eye. When Shen Wenru and Li Xiaoxia saw their eldest brother and sister-in-law coming, they were still confused. Brother and sister-in-law, why are you here? Have you eaten? Ma Hongying waved her hands towards them. Eat, hey, where are Xiaoxing and Xiaorui? Li Xiaoxia smiled and replied to her, the brother and sister have been talking in the study for a long time. I don't know what they are talking about. I will go up and call them down. Ma Hongying was not polite and said with a smile, okay, I have something urgent and I want to talk to Xiaoxing. Li Xiaoxia went up to the second floor and walked to the door of the study. Before she could knock on the door, she saw the study door opened, and Shen Tianxing and Shen Tianrui walked out one after another. Shen Tianxing asked her, Mom, why did you come up here? Li Xiaoxia smiled and said to her, it's your aunt and uncle who ran over in a hurry and said they have something important to talk to you about. You guys should go down quickly. Shen Tianxing and Shen Tianrui looked at each other, and both of them smiled helplessly. Li Xiaoxia looked at them with a puzzled look on her face. What's wrong with you? Did something really happen? Shen Tianxing quickly said to her mother, Mom, there's nothing wrong. There's something good going on. Let's talk about it later. Li Xiaoxia asked curiously, what's a good thing? Can't you tell me first? Shen Tianxing smiled and explained to her, it's a good thing about eldest brother's marriage. Otherwise, why would Auntie rush over in such a hurry? Let me just say, it's no wonder. After Li Xiaoxia finished speaking, she reacted belatedly, Xiaoxing, you mean, your elder brother's good things are coming soon? Shen Tianxing smiled and nodded, yes, it will be done soon. After hearing this, Li Xiaoxia was also happy for Shen Tianrui from the bottom of her heart. After all, he was already a grown man, and many people his age had already become fathers and mothers. When she heard that he was settled, Li Xiaoxia smiled with emotion and said, no wonder your aunt is so anxious. She has been looking forward to such a great thing every day for so long, and now she is finally getting her wish. The mother and daughter went downstairs while chatting. As soon as Ma Hongying saw Shen Tianxing coming downstairs, she stood up and hurriedly walked towards her. She asked her eagerly, Xiaoxing, what you just told my uncle is true? Shen Tianxing smiled and nodded at her, yes, Auntie, I have already done a fortune telling for my eldest brother. Next month, I will meet my destined woman and we will have a good marriage. Ma Hongying clapped her hands and said happily, "Oh, that's great, great. I finally don't have to worry about my old boy not being able to get a wife, ha 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 ha." When Shen Tianrui heard his mother use old boy to describe him, he suddenly felt a little heartbroken. He's also very handsome, okay. Shen Tianxing also snickered secretly on the side. Her eldest brother is obviously very handsome, but he is dismissed as an old boy by his eldest aunt. It is indeed aggrieved. The Shen family members are all very good looking, and each of her cousins is tall and handsome, and they all wear uniforms, which adds to their good looks, and they look alluring in uniform. Every time they went out on the street, it was like a spotlight. All the girls and wives looked at them, attracting the attention of many women. Even in life, every cousin has many women chasing after them. But for so many years, they just couldn't meet a woman who made their hearts beat. This time, who will be the outstanding woman who can make the calm and rational elder brother fall in love? Shen Tianxing said in her heart that she, like her eldest uncle, was full of expectations for her eldest brother's other half. Time is like quicksand, and in the blink of an eye, the new year of 2001 is here. On New Year's Day, Shen Tianxing received a call from Mr. Fu from Fu's jewelry company. "Sister, we want to go to your field base tomorrow the 2nd, is that okay? Are you free?" Shen Tianxing suddenly seemed to have a premonition of something, and asked him with a smile, "Of course I'm free, are you coming alone?" Fu Kaofan replied, "No, I went with my 3 sisters. They said they wanted to go out and relax during the holiday, so I recommended your family's field base to them." When Shen Tianxing heard that several of his sisters were coming, he suddenly smiled and narrowed his eyes when he thought that he also had an unmarried third sister named Yuning. "Okay, you are welcome to come over and play. I will call some handsome guys over then. I'll play with you personally." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 189. Fu Kaofan was very happy when he heard what Shen Tianxing said, and immediately said, "Then it's settled. We'll be there at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, big sister, let's see you there." Shen Tianxing also smiled and responded, "Okay, see you there or see you." Shen Tianxing still has a good impression of Fu Kaofan, a kind-hearted young man. Ever since she saved his life at the field base, he had been calling her eldest sister and said that he would respect her and obey her orders from now on, which made Shen Tianxing dumbfounded. Later, their family came to express their gratitude in person. Fu Kaofan's mother, Li Mei, was close in age to her mother, Li Xiaoxia. The two got along very well and eventually became sisters, and the two families have always had contact. Ever since the Fu family tried the resort hotel's health and beauty bath, they have been very fond of going to the resort hotel. The family has been taking it for several months, and everyone's complexion is white and rosy, and they look younger. How old are you? And your body is very healthy. Under the full promotion of the Fu family, the Shen family's resort and hotel business has improved a lot. Shen Tianxing actually figured out early on that the Shen family and the Fu family were destined to be together. But she had never thought about pairing up her cousin and Fu Chaoying, the third sister of the Fu family. Perhaps, the fate between them had not yet arrived at that time. This time she counted with her fingers and found that Shen Tianrui's destined person was Fu Chaoying, the third sister of the Fu family. She felt that this was really fate and she couldn't stop it. The Fu family has very good characters. Fu Chaoying is not only talented, but also good-looking and has a very good temperament. She and her eldest cousin are really compatible, making it a happy match. And her kind aunt and uncle can save a lot of worry in the future if they can marry in-laws with good temperament and good character. Shen Tianxing was happy for her eldest cousin from the bottom of her heart. She immediately took out her cell phone and dialed her cousin's cell phone number. Shen Tianrui is on duty in the office today. Every time when everyone is on holiday, they, the public security officers, are even busier. They have to maintain law and order and basically have no rest. He heard his cell phone ringing, took it out of his pocket and saw that it was a call from his baby sister. He quickly answered the call. "Hey, Xiao Xing, what's the matter?" Shen Tianxing said with a smile, "Brother, there are good things and great things. Do you remember what I said last month? Your true love is about to come out this month." Shen Tianrui thought of the hexagram that Shen Tianxing said before and couldn't help but smile softly. "Of course I remember it, you'd better just tell me directly and don't talk in circles with me." Shen Tianxing's voice dropped and became a little serious. "Brother, come to my house at 8 o'clock tomorrow, and I will take you to see your true love." Shen Tianrui frowned lightly. "I'll still be on duty tomorrow." Shen Tianxing gritted his teeth. "Brother, which one is more important, your life or being on duty?" "I don't care, you must show up at my house tomorrow morning, otherwise, I will ignore you from now on." When Shen Tianrui saw that Shen Tianxing was getting angry, he quickly coaxed her and said, okay, I will be there on time tomorrow." "Okay." Shen Tianxing smiled again and said, "That's pretty much it. Let's see you tomorrow morning. Brother, come over to my house for breakfast. I'll make something delicious for you." As soon as Shen Tianrui heard that Shen Tianxing was going to prepare delicious food for him, he responded without saying a word, "Okay, I will definitely be there." No one can resist the delicacies made by Shen Tianxing, especially a warrior like him. He prefers the food containing spiritual energy that she makes. Every time he eats it, he can feel that his cultivation is more stable. It's a pity that I can't eat it every day. If they want to eat a spiritual meal, it depends on little Xingxing's mood. Therefore, as soon as they catch a chance to eat Shen Tianxing's delicious food, they will definitely find a way to fly directly to her side. After Shen Tianrui hung up the phone with Shen Tianxing, he called his good partner Li Dachong. "Dachong, you will be on duty for me tomorrow. I have to solve major life problems." Li Dachong asked with a gossipy face, "What's the big event in life?" "You're going on a blind date." Shen Tianrui didn't hide anything from this good brother. "Yes, my sister said that the one I am destined to show up will appear tomorrow, and she ordered me to show up." Li Dachong said with deep approval, "It's time for you to make plans. Look, we are the same age and I became a father. You haven't settled yet, ha ha ha." Shen Tianrui was speechless at Li Dachong, a maniac who often showed off women, and directly said to him, "Stop saying a word, no one will think you are mute." Seeing that he was angry, Li Dachong smiled cheerfully and said, "Okay, I will help you on duty tomorrow. Remember to bring wedding candy when you come back to work." Shen Tianrui was about to be defeated by him, and said helplessly, "Brother, I won't meet you until tomorrow. How can I hand out wedding candies so quickly?" "Don't worry, when it comes time to hand out wedding candies, your share will definitely be indispensable." Of Li Dachong was just teasing him. When he heard what he said, he stopped teasing him and said directly, "Okay, I'll help you on duty tomorrow. That's it? I have something else to do, so I'll hang up now." Shen Tianrui responded, "Okay." The next day, Shen Tianrui got up at 6 o'clock, exercised in the garden of his home, washed himself from head to toe, trimmed his beard, and put on a pair of designer casual clothes. He said hello to his parents and went to Shen Tianxing's house next door for breakfast. Shen Tianxing and Dugu Zixi were setting out the dishes and chopsticks. Shen Wenru, Li Xiaoxia, and the twin brothers were already sitting there. As soon as Shen Tianxing saw him coming in, he smiled and said to him, "Brother, you're just in time. Come and sit down." We'll start eating soon. Shen Tianrui walked over, first called Shen Wenru and Li Xiaoxia, then said hello to Zhigu Zixi, and asked him casually, Zixi, is your military department busy recently? Zhigu Zixi smiled lightly, it's not bad. Shen Tianrui looked at the delicious breakfast on the table, gave Shen Tianxing a thumbs up, and praised her, thank you for your hard work, Xiaoxing. Shen Tianxing winked at him playfully, brother, you have to eat more. Your efforts will be needed soon. It's not easy to hug a beauty back. Shen Tianrui said cheerfully, okay, today you are the commander. I will do whatever you ask me to do, and I will ensure that today's arduous task is completed. When everyone saw the expression on Shen Tianrui's face as if he was ready to die when he finished speaking, they all laughed loudly, ha 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 ha. After breakfast and a cup of tea, Shen Tianxing led Shen Tianrui towards the field base. Zhigu Zixi originally wanted to accompany her, but Shen Tianxing was afraid that he would steal Shen Tianrui's limelight because he was too good-looking, so he sent him back to the military headquarters without mercy, which made Zhigu Zixi extremely depressed. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 190. Is it his fault for being good-looking? Shen Tianxing saw the sorrow in his eyes. Before he left, she secretly comforted him and said that she would stay with him well after entering the space at night. Only then did Zhigu Zixi escape back to the space under her force, and then pass through the space. Returned to the capital. He groaned inwardly, waiting to settle the score with this little guy at night. When Shen Tianxing and Shen Tianrui arrived at the field base, it was not yet 9 o'clock. Fu Caofan and his 3 sisters haven't arrived yet. Shen Tianxing first went to Huang Li, the female manager at the field base, and decided on the best field area. He sat in the lobby drinking tea and chatting with Shen Tianrui, waiting for the arrival of Fu Caofan and the others. Next came Zhang Hua, Wu Haishan, and Gao Lingfeng. The last time the 3 of them came here, they happened to encounter a robbery incident, and they ended up going back without having any fun. So this time, Shen Tianxing called the 3 of them over again to make up the numbers, so that they had exactly 5 people here to form a team. Shen Tianxing invited Zhang Hua, Wu Haishan, and Gao Lingfeng to sit down and drink tea. I still have a few friends who haven't arrived yet. Let's have a cup of tea first and wait for them. As soon as Wu Haishan sat down, he complained to Shen Tianxing, Tianxing, if you don't come to class, we will all feel bored. Zhang Hua kicked him and spoke for Shen Tianxing, do you think Tianxing is like you? Tianxing is a top student. She can still get the first place in the exam without going to class. Going to school is a waste of time. Tianxing has so many things to do now. It's better to use the time from school to work, this is a reasonable use of time, do you understand? Wu Haishan glared at him, I just miss when Tianxing is here. What's wrong? No. You dare to say that you don't like Tianxing to be with us? Zhang Hua glanced at him sideways and said with a faint smile, you are just being arrogant. Who said I don't like Tianxing to be with us? Even if Tianxing doesn't go to school, we can still come and play with Tianxing when we have time. Just like now. Wu Haishan snorted, you are such an arrogant person, can you not argue with me? I just want to express my feelings to Tianxing, but you have to tear me down. Zhang Hua chuckled and said, okay, I won't tear you down, please continue to perform. Shen Tianxing was amused by the 2 of them and laughed, okay, stop arguing. If any of you miss me, just call me. I will play with you when I have time, or we can have dinner together. Speaking of this, Shen Tianxing suddenly remembered that his Xingzi Charitable Foundation also has a restaurant, which is not far from No. 1 Middle School. If they want to see her, they can come to her place to eat. Thinking of this, Shen Tianxing said to the 3 of them, our Xingzi Charity Foundation also has a restaurant. The food in it is made from raw materials produced by our Shen ecological manner. It tastes pretty good. You can come and eat when you are free. When the three people heard this, their eyes suddenly lit up. You can have this, then we will go to your place to eat when we have time in the future. Shen Tianxing smiled and nodded. Okay, I will ask the restaurant manager to set aside a private room just for you. Wu Haishan happily patted the handle of the sofa and laughed. That's great, Tianxing, thank you. Shen Tianxing smiled and said, thank you for nothing, it's just a little effort. It can be said that the three of them are her only friends in Su City No. 1 middle school. I don't know if it was because of an Mixu's incident that scared those female classmates, but they didn't get close to her. However, Shen Tianxing also felt that it didn't matter. There was no need to have many good friends, as long as there were a few who got along well. If someone who doesn't like her comes to please her and insists on playing with her, she will find it troublesome, which is fine as it is now. Seeing that it was past 9 o'clock, Shen Tianrui asked Shen Tianxing, Xiaoxing, why haven't they come yet? Could something have happened? Just call and ask. As soon as Shen Tianxing took out his cell phone, it rang. She looked down and saw that it was Fu Kaofan who was calling. As soon as Shen Tianxing was connected, Fu Kaofan on the other end said directly, Sister, we are blocked on Mingxing Road. There was a serious car accident here. A family of 3 was hit by a big car. The parents were on the spot. After death, only a 3 or 4-year-old child was left holding his parents and crying. The scene was so tragic. Shen Tianxing asked, then you can't make it through? Fu Kaofan immediately said, of course, go over there. The traffic police are already clearing the way. They should be there in about half an hour. Please wait for us. Shen Tianxing replied to him, it's okay. We'll wait for you. You should also be careful and drive slower. Safety comes first. Fu Kaofan responded repeatedly, I know, I know. Shen Tianxing hung up Fu Kaofan's phone and smiled helplessly at the waiting people. There was a car accident on the way here. They have to wait a little longer. If you feel bored, let's play cards first. Wu Haishan became excited as soon as he heard this. Okay, get the cards quickly. Shen Tianxing waved to manager Huang Li again and asked her to bring over a new deck of cards. The 4 men were playing cards, and Shen Tianxing was watching from the side. With playing cards to pass the time seemed to fly by quickly. After a few games, Shen Tianxing said to them, my friends are here. I'll go out to greet them. Shen Tianrui thought that his future wife might be among these people, so he quickly threw away his cards and stood up, let's stop playing with this and go pick them up together. Shen Tianxing gave his cousin a thumbs up, indicating that he did the right thing, let's go then. She raised her voice and said to Oriol, Manager Huang, please clean up this place. Oriol quickly responded, yes, miss. Shen Tianxing, Shen Tianrui and the others went out together and saw Fu Kaofan and the others driving over in 2 luxury cars. When Fu Kaofan saw Shen Tianxing greeting them at the door, he felt a little flattered. He quickly rolled down the window and shouted to Shen Tianxing, Sister, we are here. Shen Tianxing also waved to him, indicating that he should stop the car quickly before getting down to talk. Shen Tianrui looked at the 2 luxury cars and knew that one of them was his future wife. His heart, which had always been beating steadily, suddenly started to beat nervously. The first person to get out of the first car was naturally Fu Kaofan. The person who got out of the car immediately behind him was Li Mei. The person who got off the bus behind Li Mei was Fu Chaoying, the 3rd eldest son of the Fu family. The people sitting in the car behind were Fu Chaoying, the eldest son of the Fu family, and Fu Kaoxiu, the 2nd eldest son of the Fu family. The 2 sisters even brought their husbands here today. Shen Tianrui looked around at these people, and finally focused on Fu Chaoying, who was holding hands with Li Mei. His future wife should be this girl, right?